A new year always brings thoughts of opportunities and growth. And in this video, I'm going to share with you 5 ways on how you can grow as a project manager. Learn from failure. As the saying goes, if you don't succeed, try and try again. That failure actually gives you more lessons than your successes do. Not to say if you succeed, you don't learn from it. It's just that when you fail, you really feel that disappointment and you probably do a little more analysis as to what went wrong versus when you're succeeding. So don't allow failure to be a bad thing. Embrace it. It actually is a good thing. It's allowing you to learn. Take notes of what exactly didn't go well and how you go about it next time in a different way. We call that lessons learned, something we do all the time in project management. So if you start doing those lessons learned for your project, don't forget. Also translate that to yourself. How can you be better at what you do? And if something didn't work out well, it's okay. Try it again and do it slightly differently. It's only going to make you a better project manager. Speaking of failure, I have for you a free guide on top 6 things you need to be aware of to make sure your projects don't fail. Now, I'm going to share that with you very shortly, so definitely stay tuned for that. Upgrade and expand your knowledge. It is important to keep yourself up to date with what's going on out there, and even get involved in some cutting edge things that are occurring from either a technology perspective or just information. So what is it that you can do to really upgrade your knowledge and get better? Well, books, hello, guess what? I have 2 of my favorites here. One is on emotional intelligence because it's really important. Your projects are all about people, and this gives you that insight on how to really look at people from an emotional intelligence perspective. The other one is Tinker Toys that I love because let's be honest, when it comes to project management, it's not just executing on tasks. You're actually trying to find creative ways to solve problems. And this is a great book to give you some insight. What are some other stuff too? Well, there's definitely videos on YouTube, lots on project management. Hello, I got tons on my channel all about project management. Definitely go search that out. There's also articles that you can read on the internet, giving you some information on really whatever topic that you're looking for. And don't forget the traditional aspect of actually taking a training course. And there's training courses are kind of abound everywhere. Universities have them, post-secondary institutions, online programs, tons out there. The one that I'm going to tell you and recommend is my online practical project management course, Slay Project Management. It gives you all the tools you need to be successful, really focusing on the things that truly matter the most so you're not wasting your time. It's the practical side of project management. I'm going to have the link for you under this video, so definitely go check it out. But expanding your knowledge is only going to help you get better and ensure that you are of value not only to your team, but to your organization as well. Evaluate your time management skills. What are the 3 things that we're taught in project management? Our project trinity: time, scope, and budget. So time is something that you really need to be on top of, not only from a standpoint of the project, but your own time and your team's time and how you use time. That becomes really critical. So you want to fine tune it if you want to get better as a project manager. So what are some things that you can look at from a time perspective? There are some really good questions you can ask yourself. You can ask yourself, are you prioritizing the right thing? So what do I mean by that? Time is precious. We can never get it back. Once it goes, it goes. So it's not like I can make up for lost time. So are we doing and focusing our efforts and energy on the right thing? And that's where prioritization comes into play. Are we putting all of our energy and effort into something that maybe is not going to have a really good payback, or focusing our time and attention on something that is very minor in the grander scheme of things? So really taking a step back and understanding the priority, linking it to the strategy and a bigger picture is really going to help improve your time management. Another aspect too to really consider is things that are urgent and things that are important. Because I promise you, just because something is urgent doesn't necessarily mean it's important. And we can get really caught up with the firefighting, the reacting, and just really, oh my goodness, this is urgent. Someone just emailed me. Oh my goodness, I better go on my computer, check it all out. I got to respond to them right away. Whoa. That urgency, just because someone knocked on your door or sent you an email indicating they need something quick, you have to be careful you don't get caught up in that little whirlwind. And so you really need to take a step back and start analyzing from a time management perspective that everything you do needs to focus on what is important, not necessarily what is urgent, because someone else's urgency may not be important to you. Now, don't get me wrong, a little bit disclaimer, sometimes you have to focus on someone's urgency, but the key is not to make that 100% of your activities. Is to really start looking at what's important and analyzing that and pushing back in a very respectful way when if you keep on getting from the same person urgency continuously, then you got to start asking them, look, I need you to plan a little bit better because I can't drop everything in order to deal with your urgency. So those are conversations that you can definitely have that are very respectful. Another aspect too is to really take a look at your meetings. Are you running meetings properly? Are you booking meetings properly? Are you having meetings just to have meetings? Why am I bringing up meetings when I'm talking about time management? Well, we only have X amount of time in a day. So do we want to be wasting our time in a meeting? How many of you have been in meetings that literally you feel like you're wasting your time? In fact, you don't even have the camera on if it's a virtual meeting and you're doing other work. If you're doing that, you know you shouldn't be in that meeting. But yet, who's responsible to ensure that that time's not wasted? It's the facilitator of the meeting. And let's be honest, when it comes to projects, who's the facilitator? Usually the project manager. So you really need to understand why you're calling meetings, really be effective and efficient with it, because that's really going to improve your time management. Not only that, people are going to realize that when you call a meeting, it has value, which actually is a lot more powerful than just having tons of meetings booked. When people know, oh, I'm going to Adriana's meetings all the time because we get stuff done. So it's just something to really look at, of fine-tuning your time management skills. It's not about arriving on time somewhere, but it's looking at a bigger picture of how you handle and manage your time. Improve your communication skills. Oh my goodness, if you've been watching my videos, this is not a new topic. I constantly talk about this. Your communication skills and learning how to be a better communicator is going to help you tremendously in any role that you do, no matter what, professionally, but particularly in project management. So why is it so important to have great communication in project management? Because let's be honest, everything you do in your project is about communicating. You're communicating on budgets. You're communicating on timeline. You're communicating on approvals. You're communicating on next steps. You're communicating new ideas and changes that have to happen to project plan. You're communicating agreements in your meetings, your outputs that you had. You're communicating. And it is really important that if you want to get better at what you do and really shine and develop and focus on something, communication is never going to be something that you'll be, darn, I wish I didn't work on that. It's only going to help you. So what are some things that you can look at from a communication perspective? Well, first and foremost, there's verbal communication. So really think about how you bring ideas across. Are you clear, succinct, to the point? This becomes important, particularly in the professional world, when sometimes people don't want to hear your whole story. You have to learn how to get to the point quickly. That's something I've learned over the years. I still have to work on, but I learned over the years. And as an extrovert, I actually think as I speak. So a technique that I do is I actually write bullet points down of the key things that I want to at least talk about, so that as I do my thing as an extrovert and think as I speak, I still know that I have a few bullet points that I have to tie in there. Now, for those of you who are introverts, you think before you speak. My goodness, you're so lucky. That's something actually I'm working on, is how to be a little more reflective so that I can really be succinct with what I'm saying. Again, communication, it's something you're going to work on all the time. Another form of communication is written communication. Let's really be blunt here. We communicate a lot in email, which is written communication. We communicate a lot when it comes to those chat apps, whether it's in Teams or whether it's Slack or whatever it may be that organizations use. And how many times can that written communication be misconstrued? Because it's dependent upon how the person is reading it. That can really be a loaded political bomb if it's not done correctly. And I'm sure you've had experiences where someone misconstrued the message that you had, let's say in your email. Oh, but guess what? I actually have you covered, because in my course, Slay Project Management, I have every single email template that you will need for a project from start to finish to any type of stakeholder with very succinct messaging to help you throughout the process. You just have to cut and paste. It really becomes that important for you to have really clear email communication, so much so that I thought it was that important. I put it in my course, Slay Project Management. Now, the other thing I want you to consider, and when we talk about communication, this gets lost, is listening. I work on this, and it's hard sometimes for me because not only am I an extrovert and I have to speak in order to formulate my thought, I'm also a leader. I project manage. I'm a leader naturally speaking. I teach, right? I'm teaching you right now. So I'm constantly used to giving my advice, constantly used to organizing and leading the conversation. Well, if I'm talking all the time, I'm not listening to what other people are saying. And I promise you, really good communication is listening, really hearing what other people have to say and not jumping to conclusions. Worse yet, not listening to what they're saying, but formulating your thoughts so that you can have a comeback to what they're saying. So listening is just as important, just probably even more so than a written or verbal communication. Because when you listen, you get clarity. And clarity is half the battle when it comes to communication. So really, really listen. One of the techniques that I use to reiterate someone's point is, and it's a very simple one, so this is for you. Someone's speaking, I let them finish, and then I'll say this. So John, if I heard you correctly, and then I summarize a point. It's a very quick technique. It's a technique facilitators do all the time, and I've adopted it in my project management. And it makes a huge impact from a listening perspective. People really do then feel heard because you summarized correctly what they said. And if you didn't, they correct you. And that's even better for you because you're not making assumptions on something because you didn't have the skill set to listen. So communication is something I totally recommend that you look at in order to help improve your skills as a project manager. Seek out a mentor. Look, you do not have to get better at what you want to do alone. Who said that in order to be the best project manager or the best person, you had to do it all alone? You don't. Seek out a mentor or even a coach, someone who's going to help you through the process, someone that you can bounce ideas off of, someone who's been through or around the block who can say, hey, based on my wisdom, based on my experience, here are some suggestions. That mentorship has so much value. It's establishing, someone who you really trust and have a great rapport with, who can really help you with some of those hard decisions that you need to make professionally, particularly when you're leading. Those could be people-related decisions. They could be strategy-related decisions, something that you just really need to talk it through with someone. So a mentor is someone who can be of great assistance, and I highly recommend that you consider getting yourself a mentor to help you professionally. Now that you know how to continue your growth as a project manager, don't stop there. Continue. Get this. This is going to give you what you need to know on how to stop your projects from struggling. And if they're not struggling, you still want to get this because you want to make sure they don't happen. And I tell you all of this in here. How do you get this? Well, really easy. Underneath this video, there's a link. Go there, grab it. Don't forget to subscribe, like this video. It tells YouTube we're doing a good job allowing me to give you more great content. Now, I have for you another video to watch. If you want to learn how to create an awesome communication plan step by step, watch this one next. Thank you so much. See you at the next video.